All right, this is take two. Welcome, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about using Zapier to make some to trigger smart campaign actions inside of your smart campaigns. And I just want to say that if you're watching this later on YouTube, if you want to go scan this QR code and register, you can attend these webinars live with us. We're here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I usually do the Wednesday one. And just housekeeping, I will not be here next Wednesday. I have to go to the home office for some meetings, but I will be back with you all the following Wednesday, next Wednesday. Our trainer, Kelly, will be doing the Wednesday one next week. So hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, come attend live, ask questions. We'd love to have a nice audience here with everyone. So we're going to start out talking about what Zapier is to begin with, and then we're going to do some integrations within it. So I'm going to go back to Zapier. And what Zapier is it is a app that lets other apps talk to each other. So what it does is it takes a trigger or some kind of action that triggers something to make something else happen somewhere else. So for in the world of KV Core, some of the examples I can give you are, for instance, if you have a new lead come into KV Core and you want to send it somewhere else, like a MailChimp list, you can trigger it. The trigger is the new lead happening, results in that new lead showing up in your MailChimp list. Vice versa, if you're doing a Facebook lead form ad and Facebook is collecting leads for you, the trigger could be new lead in Facebook. Resulting action is shows up in your KV Core database. Those are apps that you make just one off, right? Like you're making it so when this happens, this will happen. But what I'm going to talk about today is to make a Zapier step within a campaign so that the trigger is the campaign step and the resulting action happens on whenever you decide in that campaign that you want it to happen. So let's go have a look at the campaigns. So I'm going to go to all my smart campaigns. And I'm going to take the closed campaign and I'm going to clone it. Clone it. Next. Default closed. Others. Example or Zapier. Oh, there's apps, I guess. Okay. Next, finish. I'm going to remove that. So let's say that you have someone who just closed and you put them on your just closed campaign. And this just closed campaign, this is okay, actually. I'm going to actually do a quick little plug while I'm thinking about it. If you're on our YouTube channel and you're watching us here, I believe it's this one. And I'll put this in the chat. Building. I did some automations for just closed, and I made what I feel like is a much better closed smart campaign, and the share code is right here. So I'll stick that in the chat. That's your bonus for staying with me. If you want to go watch that YouTube recording, and you can grab that link right there. So now I'm just going to go back here though. So this is just the one that kind of comes with your system. So let's say that you want to, 2 weeks after someone closes, send them a little gift card to check in with them. So we would click Add Action, Zapier. So I'm going to send them send gift card. And the name of it is going to be Send Dunkin' Donuts gift. And I want this to happen on day 14. I'm going to save it. But before I save it, I'm going to copy this Zap ID, copy. So now I'm going to go over to Zapier. And we're going to create a Zap. So it's zapier.com, create that Zap. So remember when I said we have a trigger and we have a resulting action. In this case, the trigger is going to be KV Core. And if you have not hooked up your KV Core before, you're going to have to do it here. If you have already, then it will already be in the drop-down menu here. And we'll do that in a second. The first thing you're going to do is say, okay, the trigger is KV Core. The event. Remember before when I said maybe if you want to send a new lead over to MailChimp, you would use the new lead trigger. But in this case, we're running it out of a campaign. So you want to choose campaign action as your trigger. Continue. And this is where you have to choose an account. Now my account's already hooked up, but if it wasn't, you would hit connect new account. And it's going to ask you for a key, a Zapier key. And I'm going to go over to, you go to your lead engine. I'm going to open it in a new tab so I don't shut this down. All lead engine tools. Here's your Dropbox right up here. And these are your Zapier keys. Now, if you are a single agent, you're going to only see this key right here. If you're a team leader, you'll see both of them. If you're an office admin, you'll see all of them. If you're a company admin, you'll see 4 of them. Understand that whatever key you're hooking up to, you're hooking it up to that entity. So if you only want this to be for you, make sure you only do it for your agents. If you want it for your whole team, make sure you're doing it for your team. Now, in this particular case, because you're doing it as part of a campaign, let's say you're making that campaign available to your team, then you would want to use the Zapier key for your team. If it's just for you, use yours. The other way around is like, let's say before when I said you're sending Facebook leads into your KV Core, well, if you want those leads to go to your team and hit your team routing rules, you're going to use your team key. If you want those leads to only come to you, you're going to use your key. So you just copy that key and you're going to choose an account and you're just going to connect your account and put it right in here and hit continue. And now we have KV Core number 8. There's a bunch of KV Cores in here, so we've done this a bunch of times, but we're good. KV Core 8 is the one we just connected. Continue. Now, right here is where we're going to put that Zap ID. Right here. So we want to copy that key, that ID, I guess, stone, and stick it right here. And then we're going to continue. And now we're going to test it because we want Zapier to be able to find it in our KV Core. So we want to test that the connection is correct. Campaign C, it said we found it, yay. There's nobody on this campaign right now, so it didn't pull in anybody. It just gave us some fake information, which is fine. Continue. So what's the resulting? Well, if you want to send a gift card, a great option is to use Thanks.io. Thanks.io, you can do a postcard, you can do gift cards, you can do anything like you want. So for instance, it's $2.87 to send a gift card. And then whatever amount the gift card is. So again, you've got all of these different gift cards that you can send. They have tons of different ones. And I know that they have a Dunkin' Donuts one in here. So, you know, you can choose any one of these that you want to send to your folks. So I'm already signed into Thanks.io. And as long as you're signed in on your computer, you'll want to sign up and get an account. And you can actually go into templates. So like, let's say, you're going to want to, before you do this, create your messages, create your templates. So message templates, for instance, you might want to add a message that says the gift card, name your template, you know, donuts. You can choose any of these handwriting styles. So it kind of looks like you wrote it. What looks like my handwriting. None of these really. probably this one. And your message could be, congratulations. You can use these merge tags, kind of like we have in KB Core. I want to spell it right. Congratulations. Hopefully your move went well. Reward yourselves with some donuts on me. Don't hesitate to let me know if I can help in any way. Whatever, best. And then, you could select your brand, which was, what did I say? I wanted Dunkin' Donuts. And the gift amount is $20. Maybe you have a video you want to put in, like, hey, congratulations. They can watch that before they do it. Or whatever. This is the gift card, whatever. So scan this QR code, they'll get the gift card. This is what they're going to get in the mail, right? Save message template. Now, if we go back to Zapier and our action is thanks IO. I'm going to send a gift card. Continue. Choose an account. I've already hooked up my account, but I'll connect it one more time. As long as you're signed in, it'll automatically do it for you. Something went wrong. Well, it did do it. That's weird. It's right there, but I've done it about 3 times. It's probably mad at me and confused. So we connected it. Continue. Now we need to set up the action. So what's the first name? You want to connect it. First name is first name. And this is so that they can send it out to them. Last name is last name. You're going to skip the full name. So this is only used, is not used if full name is specified. There is no full name field in KB Core because we have first and last name separated. So you just want to skip this altogether. So then the full address is, if a seller's full address. And if you don't have their full address, you can do city, state, zip, and all that in here, but you don't need to if you do it here. Kind of like first and last name versus full name. This is full address versus, doing it out like that. And then you're going to say, okay, you can put the rest of this stuff in if you want, email, phone, but you don't have to because it's not something that that you're going to need for a postcard. Now the message is one of the other. You remember that message I put in here? You don't need to put anything here. If you didn't make a template to begin with, then you have to choose it here. So you're going to put the message here. If you didn't have a template already made, but we did make a template. So we're same thing. Which one are we using? So we're going to do message template. And it should load. It's loading. It should load. Yeah, that's our donuts template that we made. Right? So now we have the donuts template. So we don't need to put in handwriting or image or any other of this stuff because we already made it in Thanks.io, right? So we don't have to do any of that. If you didn't make it in Thanks.io, you could put, different things in, but you don't have to, obviously. Now we got to get down here to the return address. So you're going to put your information in here. Now we're not looking it up to KB Core. We're just typing it in. So it's Heather Bowden don't have an apartment. I don't live in San Francisco anymore, but I used to. California. I don't remember my zip code, so I'm just making it up. And then gift card amount, you don't have to do because you did it here. I might do it just to be safe. And this is in cents. That's why it's 2,000. 2,000 cents is $20. You know, Dunkin' Donuts. But I don't think you actually have to do this because we already chose a template up here. So then we're going to hit continue. And now here's where you could test the action. I wouldn't do this because then it's going to cost you $20 and whatever it costs to do the thing because you're going to test the action. You know, it's going to send it out. So I would skip my test. Probably what I would do is I would add myself to this and send it to myself so I get some free donuts or whatever, just to make sure it works before I start doing it to my past clients. And so we're going to name our Zap as send post close donut gift card. And now we're going to publish it. If you don't publish it, it won't run. So you got to publish it. So now, anytime you add, make sure it publishes, published, sent anyone to this campaign on day 14, they're going to get a gift card. There's other things you can trigger. Another one would be ZenDirect. This is it's called ZenDirect, yeah. You can do like gourmet food and like brownies and truffles and chocolates. Maybe you want to do this on their 1-year anniversary. So you could go back and say, okay, add action, Zapier, send anniversary brownies on day 365. Right, and save it. And then it's right here. You're going to go ahead and get that, copy that again. Go back to Zapier. And create a whole nother Zap. When it lets me, because it's mad. It's loading. Create Zap. The trigger is, again, KV Core. The event is a campaign action. Now I already added my KV Core account, so it should be in there. Yours should only have one in there. Continue. And then you put that Zap ID in again. Continue. Test that trigger. Did it find it? It did. Continue. And this time we're going to do Zen Direct. Right here. Now I'm not going to go through this one just because I didn't put any money in and it's not letting me do it. I tried to do it earlier. But same thing, like, do you want to send a card or a mailer? Yeah, I want to send gifts. Continue. Choose an account. I had already hooked it up, but as long as you were logged in, it worked. But I wasn't able to do it because I didn't really sign up because I didn't pay any money. So, but that's just another option of something you could do. So then what are some other things you can add? I ran into a situation this week where I had a person who had a lender who did not want to use KV Core. And they wanted all of their leads to come to a spreadsheet that they could pull off of. Well, you could set up a Zap that says any new lead that comes into KV Core gets sent to a spreadsheet for this lender. But in this particular case, they weren't sending all their leads to the lender. They were only sending certain leads to the lender that had a certain hashtag. So what they did was they made a campaign, and it was just a one-step campaign. And the trigger was, was hashtag is, I don't know, we can make one, Letterman, let's say, whatever the hashtag was that they had on there. So when a lead came in with this particular hashtag, they sent it over. Send lead to Larry lender. And maybe that hashtag has its own, you want to set up its own smart campaign for that hashtag for sending stuff out to the contact. And you can do this, and just, this could be one step. This could be one step in it. So let's find what I did. Where did I put it? Send to it, right? And so we're going to add an action, and we're going to add a zap. And we're going to send to Larry, and send lead to Larry's spreadsheet. Now you're going to go into your sheets, your Google Sheets, and you're going to create a spreadsheet that's called Larry's leads from others KV Core. And what you can do is you can do this in your own Google, because it's going to be hard to hook up his Google, because you'd have to have access to his Google to hook it up to Zapier. So do it in yours, and then just share this sheet with him. So let's say I'm sending over first name, last name, email, and phone number. And I did this once before, so I want to delete this old one. There we go. Okay, so we've got this spreadsheet, and this we want to send the leads over here as part of this campaign step. So let's go back here. So I want this to happen as soon as the lead comes in. I want it to happen there. So I'm going to click run immediately. So I'm going to copy this Zap ID. I'm going to save this guy here. I'm going to go back to Zapier. So let's try this again. We'll make a new Zap. Create. Let it load first, because it's kind of slow. Create a new Zap. So the trigger once again is KV Core. The event is a campaign action. That KV Core 8 is the one I added. Continue. Put that ID in here. Continue. It's going to try and find it. Found it. Continue. And now it's going to be Google Sheets. So if you just type in Sheets, the event is we want to create a new row. So that's my old one. We want to create a new row with first name, last name, email, phone number. So create a new spreadsheet row. Continue. And now you're going to choose your account. I've already connected mine up, but if you hadn't, you would hit connect new account. And you're basically going to sign into Google. Make sure you're signed into your Google to do that. and then it will connect your account for you. So if I've already signed into Google, I've already done it before. So it's there, it'll be in your list. Once you connect it one time, it'll always be connected in Zapier. Continue. So now we want to say, okay, what drive am I using? You probably only have one drive. I have some other stuff for work, but Google Drive. And then spreadsheet. What's the spreadsheet? Larry's leads from Heather's KB4. That's the one I just made. And what worksheet are we talking about? And worksheet, we're talking about this tab down here, sheet number 1. So you could have multiple worksheets on this one Google Sheet. So we just want sheet number 1. That's the only one there. If you have more than one sheet, it would show it up. So now what it did was it pulled in those columns that I made prior, right? It's pulling this in from these columns here. So now we got to map it out like we did before. So first name is first name. Last name is last name. Email, show all options. Email is leads email address. And phone number is the phone number. Now, obviously, if you're capturing more information about this lead and you want that to go over to your agent or to your lender too, then obviously you just make it a column for that and map it on over. And so now you're going to say, okay, we've mapped everything over. We're going to send it. We're going to test this out and see if it works. And it said, yep, we send it over. Let's check it out. There it is, right on the spreadsheet. And so now, whenever, if you publish this app, every time you add, someone gets added to that campaign, immediately it's going to add it to Larry the lender spreadsheet. So those are just a couple of things you can do. Some old things we used to do, we used to use it for triggering like voicemail drops and that kind of stuff. But now in the KB Core platform, you've got, I'll just do a quick little plug in your marketplace. You have voicemail drop right here. And we used to do it for like if you wanted to send a bomb video. But now we have Core Video where you do it right inside of KB Core. So, but before you had to use, Zapier to make that happen. And so if you subscribe to either of these things when you're in your campaigns, you can add a voicemail in there, or you could send an email with just pull in your bomb into that email when you make it. So you don't have to do that anymore. But there's kind of infinite things you can make it do. And so those are some options. For those that you are here still, if anyone has any questions, let me know. And it doesn't have to be about KB Core, it doesn't have to be KB Core related, but it doesn't have to be about what I just went over. If you guys have any questions about anything else, I have time and happy to stay and chat with you. Is voicemail in the dropdown the same as the voice in the marketplace? Yes. So if you've subscribed to voicemail in the marketplace, you would make your subscription and then you can record all your voicemails. And then what would happen is if you add a voicemail, all of your recordings would show up right here and you would just choose whichever. You can also create the recording right here and record it right while you're building your campaign. And so these are really great to use. We kind of talk about like speed to lead. Obviously, a lead comes in and you're showing houses. You can't just call that lead, but you can leave them a voicemail and it just looks like they missed a call from you. And then they see your voicemail and you just say, hi, welcome or whatever. I'll be back in touch so that, and it's a really good way too, I think, because the missed call will come from your smart number. That when you call back to them through KB Core, through your smart number, their phone has already seen that number and they know who's calling them. And so instead of being like, I don't know who this is, I'm not going to answer the phone, they've already gotten a voicemail from you. And if they want to talk to you, they'll be more likely to answer. So those are great ways to use the voicemail drop. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody for attending. And again, next week I won't be here, but I will be here the week after. Kelly will be here next week. I will miss you too next week. I hope everyone has a wonderful week and a great weekend. Oh, have fun with the Super Bowl this weekend. Eat lots of yummy Super Bowl food. All right. Bye, everybody.